You've got another question? Yeah.
Some Western-minded people make objection on the teaching of the Holy Quran regarding the punishment of the women, certain women.
Regarding?
Regarding the punishment of the certain women. They say that instead of beating the women, the Holy Quran should have ordered the divorce. That would have been much better. What should be our answer to those people?
The reverse, that women should beat men? Is that what you mean? When you say the Holy Quran should have ordered the reverse, this would mean that Holy Quran should have permitted women to beat their husbands rather than husbands.
Divorce.
Huh?
Divorce.
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 I thought this is the difference.
No, divorce.
I thought you were talking of reverse. No. So divorce comes much later. At every family feud, you can't give divorces. This is not a small thing to happen, because once man and woman are married, they are married apparently and primarily with the purpose of being married for life. That is the objective. So separation, according to Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is abghuzul halal in the law. Allah hates this, or shall we say, likes this halal the least. Of all that is permitted, this is the least liked by God. So that is why an attempt is made by the Quranic teaching to keep the marriage intact and alive as far as possible. Now, in this situation, as I have made clear before, it's a teaching which cannot be improved upon. If, for the time being, we forget this teaching, what do we find in ordinary affairs of humans, whether Muslims or non-Muslims? There are daily fights, and most often men who are powerful and strong and also roughly made, they do not hesitate to beat their wives. So they don't need any injunction from Allah. They don't care for that. In the British society, according to the well-recorded incidents in investigations, a very large number of labor class does not hesitate in beating their wives. The laborer very often gets drunk, and even if normally he wouldn't, during that state he can very often beat the wife, and sometimes mercilessly. Now, does he take a license from the Bible, from the New Testament or Old Testament, or from any religion? Such exactly is the case universally of every people everywhere in the world. Now, this verse, in fact, creates obstructions in the way of free beating of women. And instead of promoting this, it prevents, as far as possible, that ultimate state where man may beat. Now read the verse in order and you will be amazed that it is not promotion of this habit, it is suppression of that habit. Because this is common in men, God could not ignore altogether the human nature. So what God has told the Muslim believers is that when you fear, number one, this is very important, the fear rebellion of your own wives against you, nushuz, they rise in rebellion against you and daily create nonsense and nuisance for you, then you're not permitted to beat them. You should admonish them first. And when you see that the admonishment does not work, then separate your beds from theirs for a reasonable time. Now, separating the beds is not a punishment to the woman who is rebellious. It is a punishment to the man who is gentle. Because she would say, good riddance, all right, go to hell and get to remain locked within your room, don't enter mine. So the Holy Quran in this way brings the temper of man down to the normal, ordinary level. He suffers in that separation and then thinks twice and thrice. If that man happened to be in the wrong, then this course of abstaining from normal relationship, would bring the level of his temper down to ordinary, normal level. And then it is more likely that they reconcile with each other. Now, at the end of this period, if the wife continues to be rebellious and vicious in her behavior, then what should be done? Should she be handed over to the police? Would that be better? Or a normal, moderate chastisement should be permitted to the husband? I think to go to the police for such cases and invite others in trouble, and also to try to have the wife imprisoned, is much worse solution than this one which the Quran proposes. And that also with certain conditions, very strict conditions. You should not beat on the face, you should not beat like this, you should not beat with any hard rod, you should not beat in a manner that leaves an imprint on the skin of the woman. So this is what the people normally do not do. Whenever you hear of cases of men being cruel to the women, even in America, these cases outnumber all such cases ever committed in the world of Islam. Daily in Harlem, in the streets of New York and other places, Washington, etc., these cruel beatings are recorded, which sometimes end up in death. For small, disagreements and rows, men go to that extreme. So Islamic teaching could not be completely unrelated to the realities of life. If it would be, this would be not be a book, a divine book, it would be a man's imagination. So the Holy Quran remains adhered to the realities of life, yet polishes human nature, instructs it, and improves the quality of humans in dealing with each other. So I read this verse with deep respect for the Quranic solution of such disagreements between husband and wife. In all other situations where wife is not rebellious, nowhere does the Quran give a man a right to beat his wife. And here, ordinary disagreements are not meant by that verse. Now, the best model of the understanding of the Quran was Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. You can't imagine a better model of the Quranic life. And he had disagreements with his wives. Many a time the disagreements were one-sided. If you study those events, you will find that it was always an excess committed by the wife, not by Muhammad Rasulullah. Yet he did not raise even his little finger against his own wives. Did you not understand the Quranic injunction? That when in disagreement you start beating? Even when the beds were separated for certain other reasons, at the end he did not beat any wife, anywhere, any time. So the Quran must be understood as it was understood and practiced by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. And if you read this verse in the light of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah's conduct, then this verse would rise in glory and beauty in your estimation rather than being censured as some people unfortunately do that.